Well, good evening and welcome to our spring concert. Tonight's program has more of a pops feel. Where you hear everything from Sassaw to Queen and Guns N' Roses. As we did with our winter concert, most of tonight's music was selected from a list of student suggestions. And again, I'm really impressed with their ideas. They've picked some really good stuff. Also tonight, we have an accompanist with us. She'll be playing with all three orchestras. Would you please welcome Miss Carla Lickich. So first on the program is Symphonia, and they'll be performing 3 songs, but we'll be making a change to the program. We originally wanted to play the finale from Carmina Burana, but with State Festival just a short time ago, it wasn't possible to put it together. So we're going to start with Intrigue by Sean O'Loughlin, and then move to a beautiful piece called Beethoven's Lullaby, which they actually played at State Festival, and then finish with Poco Polka, which means a little polka, by Doris Gasta. This is Symphonia. All right, if we could have the house lights up for a moment, we're going to take a minute and change orchestras. Next up is the concert orchestra. This is the Concert Orchestra, and you just heard selections from Dvorak's New World Symphony. The next piece they'll actually perform is actually one of my favorites from tonight's program. I was surprised to hear that most of the orchestra actually likes the symphony better, but this is my favorite from tonight's concert. This is My Immortal by Evanescence. And this is the Symphony Orchestra. Next week on Tuesday, the 15th, they'll be performing Vivaldi's Gloria along with the Berkeley High School choirs. Next week on Tuesday, the concert starts at 7 p.m. and we would love to have you attend. It's a magnificent piece of music and it should be an incredible performance. And really hope you can come. It's a great collaboration between the choir and the orchestra. Well, as you might know, we were able to purchase new dresses through a generous donation from the Huntington Woods Men's Club. And one of the ways we've hoped to express our thanks was to offer the opportunity to guest conduct the orchestra. I'm happy to say that we had somebody who was very excited to take us up on our offer, and he was here this morning bright and early at 8 a.m. To rehearse with the students. And would you please welcome to the stage our guest conductor, Mr. James Crowley. Well, as you might know, on the spring concert, we'd like to take a moment and say goodbye to our graduating seniors. Many of these students have been in our program for, well, a very long time, all of them actually, and most of them I've had as students for 7, 8 years, and those of them that joined us at the high school, it's been a wonderful 4 years. So I asked them at the end of each year to write up a little bit about what they're going to do after they leave here, and I tell them I will read whatever they write as long as it's school appropriate. So as I call your names, seniors, if you could come up to the stage, we have something for you, and just start to make a line across the front. There are 14 of you, so, oh, I don't know, let's start over there and see what happens. Okay. All right, so Justin White has been in the program for 8 years, and he writes, I'll be heading down to South Atlanta to attend Morehouse University, enjoying no snow and planning to make big bands. Justin White. Hannah Mulheron has been in the orchestra for 8 years, and she writes, she plans on studying medicine at Michigan State Science Residential College in the fall. Hannah Mulheron. Isabella Pierce has been in the orchestra program for 8 years, and Bella writes, Bella is moving across the country to attend Willamette University in Salem, Oregon. She plans to study either neuroscience or reproductive sciences with a minor in gender studies. She's hoping to continue playing the violin in the school orchestra. Isabella Pierce. DJ Jackson has been in the orchestra program for 8 years, and he writes, he's attending Michigan State University in the fall, studying psychology. He would like to thank Mr. Robertson and his family and friends. DJ Jackson. Henry Winsner has been in the orchestra program for 8 years, and he says he plans on going to Wayne State to pursue a career in computer science. Henry Winsner. Natalie Rosenblatt has been in the orchestra for 8 years, and she writes, she will be attending the University of Michigan in the fall and plans to study chemistry. She would like to thank her family, friends, and Mr. Robertson. Natalie Rosenblatt. Jackson Shadowski has been in the orchestra program for 8 years, and he writes, Jackson will be attending the University of Michigan to study environmental studies and engineering. He would like to thank his family, friends, and Mr. Robertson for their continued support throughout his time at Berkley. Jackson Shadowski. Andrew Schildkraut has been in the orchestra program for 8 years. And he writes, Andrew will be attending the University of Chicago to study history, philosophy, and social studies of science and medicine. He will also play a lot of funk, write satire, and hopefully find a dog. He'd like to thank his parents and teachers and his friends and brothers for setting such a good and bad example. Andrew Schildkraut. Sean Colling has been in the orchestra program for 8 years. And he says, Sean will be heading to MSU to obtain a degree in mechanical engineering. He hopes to play hockey during his time there and join a small ensemble, if the cello will fit in his luggage. But he thanks Mr. Robertson for his time spent here and everything that he has taught over the years. Sean Colling. Morgan McGoy has been in the orchestra program for 8 years, and she writes, Morgan plans to attend Case Western Reserve University in the fall with a major in chemical engineering. She hopes to possibly continue her rugby and orchestra careers, as well as study abroad through Engineering Without Borders in Botswana. Morgan McGoy. Gervais Smith has been in the orchestra program for 8 years, and she writes, after high school, I plan to further my education at the University of Toledo. I will be majoring in pharmacy. Gervais Smith. Bola Olawale has been in the orchestra program for 8 years, and she writes, after high school, I plan to attend Central Michigan University, where I'll be pursuing a major in athletic training with a minor in chemistry. Bola Olawale. Jonathan Quachi has been in the orchestra program for 8 years, and he says, after high school, I will be attending Wayne State University. I'll be majoring in global studies, but I might change that into a history major. I will also be minoring in some foreign language like German or Russian, and I hope to travel and study abroad. Jonathan Quachi. So this is my last one. I'm desperately hoping I didn't miss anybody. All right, this one comes with dance moves. All right, here we go. Ari Wolfson has been in the orchestra program for 7 years. And he writes, I'm going to study at Michigan State University. I'm going to be studying economics. I'm going to be on the dive team. Hey, Aria. Ari Wolfson. Well, as I say every year, it's been a pleasure. I've loved working with you all these years, getting to know you, and I will sincerely miss you when you're gone. And come back anytime, bring your instruments. I love you very much, and I'll miss you. Have a good school year next year. Well, thank you very much. Just a couple quick thank yous, especially Elena Gross and the BOA for everything that they do, our auditorium manager, Mr. John Hopkins, Sarah Denoyer, and the video crew for recording tonight's concert, and as always, our administration for supporting what we do. Would you give those people a huge round of applause?